Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Winslow, and that is Carlos, and we are the Creative Whole podcast. And that is Carlos doing a transition for us because we don't have any right now. But thank you, everybody that's watching right now. Thank you for joining us. And yes, we are live. We had a
live and in full effect.
Couple physical difficulties, so we are live instead of pre-recorded. But
physical difficulties, huh?
Physical difficulties, yes. But everything is well, very well. So welcome back to another episode of the Creative Whole podcast. We are genuinely glad that you are here. Whether you're here right now, whether you're on the pre-recorded listening, whether you're on podcast, whether you're on any of those, thank you for listening. And thank you for coming along with us on our journey through the book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by JMC, John Mark Homer. For Carlos that doesn't know what JMC is. So last week we talked about key idea number 5, which is to have a meaningful, unhurried spiritual life. We need to emulate Jesus's lifestyle. So here is a couple recaps. What we did. So we learned how Jesus was a deliberate and intentional figure who prioritized relationships, compassion, and God's will over our efficiency or busyness. And then we also discussed instances in the Bible where Jesus takes his time to minister to individuals or groups of people, even if it means delaying his own plans or inconveniencing himself. And a lot of times it does come down to inconveniencing ourselves. We don't want to do it. But sometimes that's, I don't know, we'll say where the magic happens, where blessings happens, where miracles happens. Just like last week, how we talked about Jesus going to Jairus' daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And Jairus, on the way,
Jairus'
daughter. Yep. Jairus' daughter. She was... Jesus would say she was sleeping, taking a nap. But what was happening is Jairus' daughter, she was dying. He was on his way. And if it was us, we were talking about how we would go and pretty much be tunnel vision and not worry about anything else because we're in a rush because somebody is dying. But what Jesus did is somebody, a lady touched his garment and she was healed because of the faith that she had. And Jesus didn't get upset or anything like that. He, in a sense, inconvenienced or delayed his own plans of going to Jairus' house. So that is pretty much how to have an unhurried spiritual life. We need to emulate Jesus. So key number 6, make sure, well, you use the thumb, huh? I used the index, you use the thumb. Ooh, and a pinky. A little weird pinky, but so key idea number 6.
Why you staring at my pinky so hard, man?
Because it was all on my grill or in my face. It wasn't on my grill, but it was in my face.
I appreciate you noticing its special characteristics.
Yes, and physical difficulties.
Like my back.
Yes, but you're here, and I'm thankful for that, and I'm blessed. So key idea number 6. Make sure to create time for silence and solitude every day. So how often do you create time for silence and solitude every day? Or we'll just say, how often do you create time for silence and solitude?
At least once a day, for sure, in the morning. And I know we've shared this before because I can't really go about I already have anxiety. Like I struggle with anxiety because my head goes a million miles a minute, and I'm like an empath, so I like feel everything. I feel like all the little vibes of the world, and so I pick up all that energy. And sometimes I feel like apart from prayer, solitude, and making sure that I got the presence of Jesus in my heart. That I am a shaky chihuahua, just out here in the world, just nervous, just looking around,
nervous and chilling. Just hanging
nervous and
out,
chilling.
being being
I call
scared.
it duck life. Yeah, I was sharing a little bit with the guys at work. I said it's about duck life. It's like the duck. He's cool on top, right? He's just floating across the water, but underneath, he's like this.
And it's weird because your feet are that small too, like a
They
duck.
are.
That's
I know,
crazy.
and I got webs between my toes.
That is crazy.
I know. It's
That
cool though.
makes sense though.
I swim
Cool, calm, and
fast.
collective.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the bottom, they're in a rush.
There's a lot of
Their
activity
feet,
going on.
their feet are in a rush.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them to emulate Jesus. Chill out, calm down.
Hmm.
So, with this key idea number 6, so our world has become noisier than ever. Social media means that even if we're physically alone, we're rarely alone with our thoughts. So, in the past, moments for quiet contemplation were built into our lives. Well, probably because we didn't have anything to look at and be like this, be numb to the world.
I don't know. Mom started me off young. I had one of the first Nintendos.
What?
Yep,
But you couldn't take it everywhere. So,
that is true. But I didn't go nowhere. I stayed next to the Nintendo.
wow, that checks out.
It was new. It was fresh. It was innovative.
I had the ColecoVision, and that was before the Nintendo. Just thought I'd
Oh,
let you know. Just thought I'd throw
well,
that out there.
you are pushing 50, so
Yeah, and I'm Asian, so we just had all the tech out there.
dang. You just
It's in our bloodline. Happens.
I'll let you say that.
Thank you. So, like we said, in the past, there was a moment for quiet contemplation. So like waiting in line, staring out a window on a bus, like going to school. We had time to hear ourselves think. That kind of solitude, which some may call boredom, has become all but extinct. And I think that would definitely help people kind of like slow down a little bit, because it seems like, in a sense, like your brain waves will just keep going and going and getting stimulated and getting stimulated and getting stimulated and getting stimulated, where it can't just like calm down, right? Do you agree?
I agree.
Thank you. So most of us spend these in between moments checking our smartphone notifications. Luckily, I typically only have like one from Carlos, but like after
And he's pretty good
3:30
at it.
when he
He's
gets
pretty
off,
good at ignoring that.
yeah, I am. Or when he gets back to me, like or when he wakes up, like at 6:30 in the morning, or he's already awake, but he texts me like at 6:30 and I'm still asleep, or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. But it's not uncommon for us to seek out constant stimulation. So in a sense, we're never alone with ourselves. We are the consequences of being pretty much overstimulated by technology, and continuously over and over and over and over. Um, so typically, like after work, like how often are you on your phone, you think?
After work?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to judge it,
I
but
mean,
like,
right. I mean, right away,
does it?
because I don't have access to my phone because where I work, you can't have a phone. So I don't have
You're
my
flip
phone
phone.
all day. I don't have a phone all day. So as soon as I get into the car, I'm checking all my messages and everything, and then do my little social media catch up and stuff. Sit there in the parking lot, leave, drive home, make my phone calls on the way home, and yeah, probably be on my phone when I'm home too. But how much time? It just depends what's going on.
So everything's like kind of situational in a sense.
Yeah, but I would say, I mean, it's a believe me, there's not going to be a day where like, oh yeah, I forgot to get on my phone today. No, that's not happening. Like, no, it's pretty much part of my life.
So it's not like a aimlessly like wandering on the internet because you feel like you're going to have maybe a little case of FOMO.
Charlie, no,
Chale. Okay.
Chale tamale. No, I am on. I'm actually, if you want to know what I'm doing a lot, I am on my Chat GPT. I am on artificial intelligence, and I am I am building curriculum and
Yeah, you
finding
are.
all kinds of yeah, lots and lots of content and material that I use for work. So I'm even working from home in a lot of ways, but I don't count it as work because
You're
um,
having fun.
I'm having fun. Yeah, I enjoy it, and so I'm always trying to sharpen my skills and have new things to talk about. So I use Chat GPT a lot. If you guys are not familiar with Chat GPT, it is the future. The future is now. Get on board before you miss out, because pretty soon robots will be telling you what to do.
Dang, iRobot Will Smith. So, what are the consequences of being continuously stimulated by technology?
Your brain gets fat.
Yeah, it does.
It comes
So,
out your
increased
eyeballs.
anxiety, exhaustion, and general ill temperedness are all symptoms of overusing technology.
That's true.
So, we can even start to feel alienated from ourselves, living life in a reactive mode, waiting for the next vibration in our pocket. The man, man. You need to check
So
that
let me
notification.
pause you. Let me pause you right there, Winslow. You've been shooting the questions my way. What about you? How is your relationship to technology and constant stimulation? What does that look like for you?
Um, my relationship with my phone and constant stimulation
Yeah,
through my phone.
computer, phone,
So,
iPads, tablets, whatever, whichever way you are being connected to Wi-Fi, internet.
so it a lot of times it all depends because a lot of times I will get on and I can start to look at stuff about like YouTube, podcasts, um, I don't know how to get subscribers, whatever the case may be, and then all of a sudden I'm down a rabbit hole. But that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, I
Or during sports, if there's a lot of like trades and stuff going on, because right now a lot of trades are going on in like football. So I'll be on it in spurts. So it won't be like a continuous like 10, 15 minutes or anything, but it'll be like a quick glance at it. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna see what's going on. And then after I check it, then I'm good and that's it. So I don't think I get stimulated too much in that sense because it's all in spurts. And I don't know, I'm just not really that far into like taking deep dives into like social media and things like that. But I do have spurts. And there are times where I do go down rabbit holes and I'm just watching and watching and watching and watching. I start to watch about like YouTube and podcasts, and then all of a sudden I'm watching something about like, I don't know, a robot dog or something. Not
hmm
literally a robot dog, but it's always something kind of weird.
Yep, it'll get you.
Yeah. So we can start to feel alienated from ourselves, living life in a reactive mode, waiting for the next vibration in our pocket. And the reason why I say that one again is because there are times where like right when it goes off, like I instantly like grab it out of my phone, thinking like something's like happening in the world, which I try to be mindful and not do it every single time. Um, but if I'm just like out and about, like I tend to like let that vibration like dictate what I'm gonna do rather than like be in the moment. I'm like, oh, it's my phone's vibrating. I need to see what it is, which I need to stop doing that.
hmm
It's no bueno. So technology has made our lives more connected, but also more overwhelming. So overwhelming, yes, but I don't think I get that overwhelmed too much because I don't allow myself to get overwhelmed in that sense. But technology has definitely made our lives more connected, which
Oh,
is good in a lot of ways.
I wouldn't say I get overwhelmed. Like, I guess overwhelmed wouldn't be the word, but the what it said earlier about being maybe a little ill-temperedness.
Oh,
Sometimes because I am trying to focus on what I'm doing, right? And I'm like into it, and I'm like going deep, deep. I mean, like I ain't came up for oxygen in a minute. You know what I mean? I'm like deep diving down the deep blue, and those little people, like I think they're my kids,
I've heard of those. I've
Those
heard of
little
those.
people that are my kids, or there's that woman who lives in my house. It's my wife. They actually want my attention, right? Or they want something from me,
Okay.
and I'm trying to act like I'm paying attention, and I'm really trying to double work it. I'm
Double
like,
dip?
yeah, trying to double dip, right? Trying to double
Mm,
dip my chip, and no one likes a double dip chip.
no,
And yeah, so I can get irritated, and then I have to check myself because it's not anyone else's fault. It's my fault
but
because I'm
yours. Yep.
but mine. Absolutely. Thanks for pointing that out, Winslow.
You're welcome. That's what
I
I'm
was
here for.
already I was already confessing, Father. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. So social media can create a sense of connection, but it can create a lack of privacy and solitude as well. So definitely a lack of privacy, I would say. Um, but it's like one of those things where somebody will get mad because you know their business, but it's like, well, you kind of put it on there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, so calm that down.
Mm-hmm.
Quit being quit being all ill tempered. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So how can we move away from this overstimulated mode of being? As we learned in the previous blink, Jesus set a good example, so we should emulate Jesus. So what you got?
Um, how can we let's see? How can we emulate, or how
Yeah.
can we move away from being overstimulated? Well, I think, like we've been talking about, basically just putting the phone down, slowing down. Um, Much easier said than done.
Yes.
Because even as we've been going through these series, I find the little voice sometimes saying, "Hey, you little hypocrite, why don't you go ahead and slow down? Hey, you're talking about all this cool stuff. I want you, you know, spend some time being quiet, you know." And so I'm like, "You're right, you're right." And so I do it a little bit more than normal. And it's probably only because I know I have to talk about it, so I'm trying to like have some
But it does make you stop and
it
think
does make
and
you
check
stop and
yourself.
think, and I'm all right with that. Like, I don't beat myself up for anything. I try not to because it doesn't do any good. But yeah, it's a hard pull for me. I have a very active brain, so to stop and be quiet, like that's all happening in the morning. After that, it's a wrap. You know, it doesn't mean like I'm not like taking time like on my drive home to like I'll play some worship music sometimes, and but that's technically kind of still listening to something, So silence, mm, that's a only in the morning thing probably.
Yeah. Silence thing is hard because of how quick our mind is to go from A to triple Z or whatever the case may be.
I think it's that, like I said, the feeling of getting bored. You know, I get bored really easy. Even if I have a million things in front of me, I get bored. So it's like that's just my brain. So to be quiet, I have to go in probably to a place of just really focusing on God and really being intentional, and probably entering into prayer. Um, Kind of like how I think of just being silent, where some people just kind of like just shut their eyes and don't say nothing. They're not trying. They're like trying to clear themselves out and not
Good
think
luck.
anything. I never do that, but it's not because I'm trying to. Like, I don't even want to try to do that because I don't
Because you
think.
can't.
Well, I'm sure if I could if I wanted to, but I don't
Really?
want to. Yeah,
I can't.
yeah.
I don't think I'd be able to.
Well, I think deep breathing, like a lot of deep breathing helps, but I think my thing is that's not what replenishes me. And I think you got to go with what replenishes you
Oh, yeah. I definitely
rather,
agree.
rather than someone else's prescribed methods of what they say should be restful or solitude or whatever.
So Jesus' reverence for silence and solitude was essential to how he lived his life and practiced his faith. And despite being a very busy man with desperate people needing him to perform miracles, such as what we talked about in the last blink, Jesus made sure to prioritize time by himself. He would regularly get up early, disappear, and be alone with God. So that's kind of something what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I would say that's definitely emulating our good Lord.
Mhm.
Getting up early, disappearing, maybe like you're probably still in your house unless you're taking off and walking down the street or something. But
No.
but you're alone. You're alone
Yeah.
with God, and your thoughts are alone with God. And I
And I
think
think
that's the big thing.
I get up early enough to where ain't no one getting up, you know.
No,
I'm up by like 3:30, 4 in the morning. So like no one's up. No one's trying to get up. So I got the house to myself.
and that's definitely it's definitely a trained thing, I would say.
Yeah. But
I
that's
can't
not
do it.
that's not because I'm so disciplined. I'm naturally an early bird. So,
You know what? I'm just going to say it's because you're so disciplined. That's just what I'm going to say. Because you're a
well,
disciplined man. Because you are disciplined,
I don't feel like I am.
but you are getting up that early, spending time with God.
See, but that's more for like, like it can sound. You could try to make it sound. It's more out of desperation. Like seriously, like I need him. Like I really need him. I need Jesus straight up because my mind is crazy. I work in a crazy place, and yeah, I need Jesus. So I got to make sure I get it in with them and I worship him and I let him love on me and let him get my soul full. That way, my heart doesn't try to feed off the little worldly things that try to make us have value or status or power or any type of whatever little worldly things that we can imagine. My heart will try to feed on those things if I'm not full of Jesus. So I
Because it's
have to,
easy.
because it's easy.
It's
So
passive.
yeah, it just happens like carbon monoxide. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It'll get you.
Hmm. Silent but deadly.
Silent but deadly.
Carbon monoxide is what I'm talking about, by the way. So Jesus frequently withdrew to spend time alone in prayer and contemplation. Don't be giving me that chuckle right there. So having that time alone was non-negotiable for Jesus. He would do whatever it took to keep himself in a place of peace with the Father, and that kind of goes with what you're talking about, what you do,
Hmm.
um, because you need Jesus, you need God in your heart before you start your day, because
Hmm.
like we were talking about, it's a little too passive to let the flesh like take over.
Yeah, it's a jungle out there.
Mm-hmm. So Jesus valued solitude as a way to connect with God and gain clarity on his mission and purpose.
So like right when I wake up, just imagine like Axl Rose screaming, "Welcome to the jungle." Then I hear in the morning, first thing, "You're gonna die." I'm like, Jesus, Jesus.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
And I like how you used Axl Rose. That was a
yeah.
good one too.
It shows my age.
25, right?
Something like that with some change.
Yeah, a little bit of change. So
Hmm.
we too are in desperate need of both silence and solitude to lead emotionally healthy lives. And in order to do that, we do not have to climb a mountain to be alone. We can create practical ways to create space for solitude in our daily lives, such as waking up earlier, like 4 o'clock in the morning, like some people, Carlos, or taking a quiet walk. Like, I do like the idea of quiet walks, and it doesn't have to necessarily be like in the morning. It could be, I don't know, at 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon. Something about like walking with yourself and just being able to be. I think it has a sense of like, ah. And I think within that, like for some reason with walks, I don't ever feel like I'm in a rush. And it's probably because I intentionally go out for walks, maybe when I have nothing to do. So therefore I'm not in a rush. But for whatever reason, like I feel like nice just taking a quiet walk. So another
Yeah.
thing you could do is take out your headphones and leave the podcasts aside. Besides us, you could maybe leave one in for a brief moment of time.
When I was creating this little section right here, I knew you were gonna say that.
Thank you. And I'm glad that you knew that I knew that I was going to say that, because that just shows that you know me. And that's good that somebody knows me,
Hmm.
right?
It's good to be known.
It is. Even though there's only one person that knows me, but it's okay.
And he's very proud of you. He
Yes,
loves
he
you.
is. Jesus does love me.
Yes, he does.
And
I
then
love you
Carlos
too,
is
bro.
just there.
I love you
But
too, bro.
oh, thank you. Are
He
we
tells me good.
BFFs?
He tells me good things about you.
I would say something, but he doesn't lie, so it's probably true. So you may confront some alarming or ugly thoughts that you've been avoiding, but you should allow them to be there. So it's talking about like being alone um, with our thoughts, and sometimes by being alone in silence, like you might confront some alarming or ugly thoughts, things that you've been avoiding, but just allow it. Like be okay. I guess be okay in the moment. Be okay with accepting, right?
Yep. Yep. That's a hard thing to do, just to be okay. Just to let things be. To let Axel scream in your ear. Just make peace with Axel.
You
Don't
have to.
fight him. Don't fight him too
Just a
long.
little just a little patience. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then just a little patience,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then the whistle will begin, and then your soul will begin to calm,
And then your mind goes on a quiet walk.
quiet walk.
So as you continue this practice, you'll realize that solitude is anything but lonely. It allows for a profound connection to ourselves and the world. Allow yourself to feel whatever emotions bubble up and be with all the chaotic thoughts racing through your head. So when I read like racing, it seems like that's always in my head, like thoughts, and they don't even have to be. Well, I guess there is chaos, but it's not like negative thoughts or anything all the time. Like it's just thoughts, and they're just swirling and swirling. Like I have like a little race car track in my head, and they just keep going, or a hamster wheel, and it just keeps going. But I just have to be in the moment and I guess do the woo saw.
Mm-hmm.
Remember woo saw?
Throw some WD-40 on it,
I like that.
so you don't have a squeaky wheel.
Hey, so what kind of few moments of solitude have? Can I have any profound benefits, Carlos?
I believe it can. So, um, there are a lot of benefits to slowing down. And one of the benefits you can have is improved creativity. Solitude can help us generate new ideas and insights by giving us the space to think deeply and freely without distractions. So, we are the creative whole. And sometimes um, we don't really talk about like the artistic side of things or all the different ways that creativity can be engaged or used. But this book specifically would help you to be more creative, because that solitude does help you to generate ideas, just to slow down. I like to get like a little journal and just like write my thoughts. Just write whatever it is. I'll talk to God, and and a lot of cool stuff comes up. And I like that. Sometimes I'll just straight up ask Jesus questions, and I get answers.
So one of the things with like the creative whole, and then how we're talking about like being in a hurry, stuff like that, like it kind of kills motivation. And for me, when my motivation is killed, it kind of puts a damper on everything. And so my creativity just kind of stops. It
Mhm.
just like it might bubble up a little bit, but I don't think it's enough for it to spark some sort of creative inspiration or anything like that. And so with especially like with this book, and just within the creative whole, like about personal development, spiritual development, this book right here, the ruthless elimination of hurry, I think for myself it kind of it's telling me that it's okay to in a sense stop.
Mhm.
And so within this stopping, but then like it just said, a few minutes of solitude, it can have the benefit of improved creativity because I'm stopping, or in a sense I'm trying to stop my mind and just to be. That's it. Because when I'm not being, then I think way too much, and all of a sudden my creative juices just kind of go out the window, and then I'm just stuck in a rut. And I think that's a really big big thing for myself, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it can improve creativity. Just stopping and
Absolutely.
smelling the roses. That's it.
Just stop and smell the roses, bud.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So another benefit that can come from silence and solitude is enhanced focus. Solitude can improve our ability to concentrate and stay focused on tasks by reducing external distractions and interruptions. And another benefit is increased self awareness. Spending time alone can help us become more attuned to our thoughts, emotions, and needs, which can improve our self awareness and decision making abilities. I find that to be true, for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Because so I think getting attuned to our thoughts um, is part of it. I think the other part is, I guess, like being okay with slowing down. Because like if I'm going to spend time alone to help myself become more attuned to my thoughts, typically when you put myself and thoughts together, you get like that racetrack that I was just talking about. And it's just going to keep going until I slow it down. And then I definitely agree with this one too, with the whole, it does increase your self awareness because then you start sitting there and thinking pretty much about yourself, or for the most part, like about yourself, maybe what you could do better, um, how you could glorify God better, and all these things that are important to you. You could be attuned with them
Mm-hmm.
and understand them a little bit more, and then that kind of helps you to become more aware of yourself. Self-awareness.
Indubitably.
Indubitably. Thank you.
And so, another benefit of silence and solitude is reduced stress and anxiety. Solitude can be calming and a restorative experience, reducing feelings of stress and anxiety and promoting feelings of relaxation and inner peace. Amen to that.
Inner
Um,
peace. I like that.
yeah, inner peace. It's everything. It really is. Go ahead and take that one, Winslow.
Oh, thanks. So also another benefit of a few minutes of solitude is improved mood. Time alone can also help improve our mood and overall sense of well-being by providing a break from the demands and pressures of daily life. So I think that's almost like one of those things, like I don't know, like the biggest thing, or the thing that I think of anyway, like a break from demands and pressures of daily life. Mostly it's like work and not work. So it's almost like one of those things, like leave work at work and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I have found myself in the past taking work home in my head, and it's taking up everything that's happening in front of me. And it's not necessarily a good thing because I'm constantly like thinking, and with my mind I'm going to think like about something small, but I'm going to do like that what is that snowball effect, and it's going to get bigger and bigger, and then it's going to overwhelm me, and then my mood is definitely going to be a little snappish,
Mm-hmm.
I would say. And so taking that time to just be can definitely improve your mood and kind of get everything, I guess, piled away in its own filing system, I would say. So another benefit would be increased empathy. Solitude can help us develop a greater sense of empathy and understanding for others by allowing us to reflect on our own experiences and perspectives.
That part.
So what you think about empathy? What's your
Mm.
idea of empathy?
What's my idea of empathy? I think it's everything. Empathy is, you know, how you relate to others, being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and feel what they feel. Um, and so I think when it comes to solitude and being quiet, that's where I do a lot of reflection. I will reflect on conversations I've had, or reflect on my day at times or the day before. And I'll think over the conversations. I'll think over some of my remarks or comments I've made or times I thought I was being funny. And I like look over all that stuff. I'm like deeply introspective like that. And, and that's where I need the grace um, from the Lord to help me and to keep me humble, and I like to always just be mindful of any potential time I could have hurt somebody or missed an insight, you know. So I think that's where that empathy comes in, just helps me to better relate, because that will actually improve my relationships. Because if I think about something during my downtime and I'm being quiet and I'm thinking and something comes to my mind or heart, I will end up like either texting that person or maybe apologize if just in case,
For
because
the
I'm a
just in case.
I'm a just in case kind of guy, and I'd rather err on the side of it's all like I'll bring it up. You know what I mean? Because I'd rather you know my heart that I never want to hurt you, for sure.
And I think that's the big thing um in just like life in general is because we are so big on relationships and we're relational beings. I think having empathy is definitely like kind of a top priority, I would say. So
Absolutely.
having that increased empathy, because you're taking that time to yourself, few minutes, few moments, whatever the case may be, it can cause an increase in empathy and being relational beings. That's good. That's what I think. So increase attentiveness to God's presence. When we intentionally seek out moments of solitude, we create space to become more aware of God's presence in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the big thing is the whole thing of creating space, like allowing yourself to create space no matter
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. Especially probably the morning is a good time for the reasons that you said, and just because for the most part, like in the mornings, I don't know, for me anyways, it's like one of those things that it just seems like it's pure. Like morning is pure for me because like nothing has, in a sense, like nothing has happened. When it becomes a little bit later, like I don't know, maybe you lost money, maybe your food
But
is
technology I
rotten.
shouldn't have bought.
I don't know about that one.
It makes me think though of it's like a little joke. It's kind of cute, but basically,
You said cute.
yeah, it was
I
kind of
like
cute.
that.
It's a cute little joke. So that's like a guy or a girl, I don't remember. But basically, like, Lord, I'm really proud of myself. I haven't done anything bad. I haven't said anything wrong. I haven't slighted anybody. I haven't been rude. I haven't been a jerk. I haven't cussed. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. And then he goes, and I'm about to get out of bed now. So, so can you please help me for the rest of the day?
That is pretty good.
Yeah,
Or pretty cute. That is pretty cute.
I thought it was cute.
I liked it. So another benefit would be deeper intimacy with God. Solitude can help us cultivate a more intimate relationship with God by giving us time to reflect on his character, his love for us, and his work in our lives, and for us to know that it's by the grace of God that we are saved.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes back down to the whole reflecting, because you brought that up a little bit ago about it's 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 a time for you to reflect. And I think just in general, no matter if it's in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, I think it's good to reflect on the prior day, on that day, or whatever the case may be. Because I think it does help us to stop to think about, like you're saying, like maybe what we did, maybe what we didn't do, maybe that day we didn't glorify God. So we need to make sure that we make that a top priority, 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 top
Whoa.
priority, top 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 priority,
Remix.
top priority, top priority, top
Bro, I
priority,
think you need to.
priority, top 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 priority, top
I feel like
priority,
I'm in
top
a rave.
priority, top 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 priority, top
Stop saying
priority, top
top
priority, top
priority.
priority, top 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 priority, top
I think
priority,
it's a top priority.
top priority, top priority, top priority, top
So,
priority, top priority, top
um,
priority, top priority, top priority,
can you
top
hear
priority, top
that
priority, top
on a
priority,
repeated
top
loop?
priority, top priority, top priority,
Because I'm
top
hearing the
priority,
same
top
top
priority, top
priority
priority, top
over and
priority,
over
top
again.
priority, top priority.
And I don't know where Winslow is. Okay, he's gone. Adri, for you, could you hear all that? Because I don't know if your banner is just your comment is just being funny because you heard that. Okay, you did hear that. I didn't know if I was going crazy or not. That has never happened before. I was like, hey, just roll with it. Remix. I thought I was in a rave or something. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish up and let Winslow figure out how to get himself back on here. So, another benefit of silence and solitude is enhanced discernment. Spending time in solitude can help us become better at discerning God's will and direction for our lives as we become more attuned to His voice and His leading. And I would definitely say that that is just so important to make time for that and that discernment to be able to know the difference between your thoughts and His thoughts. And sometimes it's hard to know the difference. Sometimes it is hard to know the difference whether it's your thoughts or if it's God's thoughts. And if you're not like a person of faith or you don't know what I mean by hearing God's voice, you might think this man needs medicine or something, but no, you can actually hear the voice of God. Um, and I hear him speaking, and sometimes it will be through my conscience, but sometimes I can just hear the Spirit speak. And sometimes he will give me instructions and directions on what to do when I'm asking him. And so I actually do receive the benefits of that silence and solitude and being with him, and it is becoming attuned to him. There's a scripture in John 15 where it says that you can do nothing of your own or by yourself. And I'm a firm believer in that. I've tried many times to do things on my own, kind of like a baby, that's trying to learn how to walk. And you don't want your parents' hands to help you. So you hit them away and then you fall and bust your head on the corner of the table. Yeah, that's me. I've done that plenty and plenty of times. And I'm finally at the age of 43 starting to learn to listen to his voice and stop resisting and really learn to listen. And that is the key to a spiritual life, a life of peace, a life of wholeness, is to live out of the voice of God and to live out of his leadings, because he is the best leader. Because it doesn't really matter how smart we think we are or how much we think we know. We don't know nothing apart from God's wisdom. He has a 360 view on all of life. He sees what's unseen. He sees what's around the corner. He sees around every angle. And if you're listening, you can get his voice to help lead you. And he always wants to be heard, but we got to make time to listen. So another benefit of solitude and silence is renewed strength and perspective. Solitude can be a time of refreshing and renewal as we draw closer to God and find strength and perspective in his presence. And so that was the last and final benefit that we had to talk about regarding silence and solitude. So if you guys right now, because we are live, I can see some comments. So if there's any comments before we close up, hey, Winnie, never do that to me again. That was so weird. It was fun though. Uh, is it Adriana? What's her name? What's your name?
Adriana.
Adriana. She's she put a, she had me laughing because it just kept saying, top priority, top priority, top priority, like over and over. So I'm like, remix, right? And then she goes, I think it's top priority. And I was like, are you saying that because you happen to say that, or can you hear what I'm hearing? Because I didn't know. And she goes, no, she could hear what I'm hearing. So I thought that was great.
Oh, you didn't want to do a remix?
Adriana.
I thought we were
It
doing
was fun.
remix.
But we are at the end. So I think, Adriana, since you're here, I have been asking Winslow to continuously invite you on. And I know he's planning on making that time. I don't know how you feel about it, but we would love to have you on and to love to conversate with you about what you're up to and about our books and things we talk about, because we definitely want to build the community and get the conversation going. And so just know that we would love to have you on. If you have any questions or any comments that you want to say about the book today, I mean, I think it would be great just to chop it up a little bit, but no pressure at all whatsoever. All right. So um, we're at the end, Winslow. All right. She said she really enjoyed that book. Good. I thought that was cool that someone actually got the book. That's cool.
I do want to give it for Adriana because she is, I would say, one of our biggest not fan. What is it? Supporter. There we go.
Listeners, part of our community.
No, supporter. And I do want to say I appreciate that. Just because.
I do too.
But yeah. So I am back, obviously. So what I want to say is let's just stop and be able to be with our thoughts and allow them to be
top priority. Top priority.
Top priority. Chicka, 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 chicka. Top priority. Chicka, chicka.
Remix.
Top priority. So next week we'll be discussing key idea number 7, which is take a day off every week to rest and worship. So that is Carlos, and this is Winslow, and I'm back finally after the little remix. But thanks for joining us on another episode of the Creative Whole Podcast. Peace. Have a blessed night. Peace.
God bless you guys.